40-year-old suspect, a Marine veteran, was killed by responding officers. A motive remains a mystery. A dramatic scene as a thick, dark plume of smoke rises from a church during Sunday services. Authorities say hundreds of people were inside the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc, Michigan, when a man rammed a pickup truck with U.S. flags through the building, then started shooting. As bullets were flying, police describing the courageous actions by some church members.
They were shielding the children who were also present within the church. Moving them to safety. Just hundreds of people just practicing their faith.
Afterwards, officials say the suspect deliberately set a fire, quickly spreading through the grounds.
All indications on this investigation are the suspect used an accelerant of some sort, we believe gasoline, and lit the church on fire.
Authorities say they also found possible explosive devices on the property. Responding officers killed the suspect as they exchanged gunfire in the parking lot. The alleged gunman, identified as Thomas Jacob Sanford of Michigan, an Iraq War veteran.
The FBI is now leading the investigation and is investigating this as an act of targeted violence.
We're going to do search warrants on the suspect's residence. We're going to find out if there was a motive. We're going to go through cell phone records, things like that.
A motive remains unclear. The tragedy comes a day after the leader of the LDS Church, Russell Nelson, passed away at 101 years old. The White House has been briefed on the situation. President Trump adding on Truth Social, this appears to be yet another targeted attack on Christians in the United States of America. He goes on to say this epidemic of violence in our country must end immediately. Following the attack, the LAPD and LA County Sheriff's Department announced they'd be stepping up patrols around religious institutions. LA Mayor Karen Bass saying this type of violence is reprehensible and should have no place in our country. Retired FBI agent Bobby Chacon.
And so now they're going to look at, the planning that took place, that anybody else might have known about the fact that this might take place. Did he speak to anyone about this, either in person, or online or things like that.
Again, the FBI is now taking the lead on the investigation as they work to determine a motive. In the meantime, authorities are saying they received multiple bomb threats at other places of worship in the Michigan area. Those were determined to be non-credible. Rick?
All right, Carlos, we'll talk to you again at 11. Thank you for that. One person has been killed and 3 others severely injured in this hit-and-run crash involving multiple vehicles in Boyle Heights. This happened over near Chicago and First Streets around 4:20 this afternoon. Authorities say it was a truck that was traveling westbound with 5 occupants, lost control, hit several parked cars. 3 women riding in the bed of that truck were transported to the hospital, 1 in critical condition, 2 in serious condition. A passenger, though, inside the truck was ejected and died at the scene. The driver of the truck then ran but was captured not far away with the help of LAPD canines.
And 1 person was killed this morning when a house fire tore through a 2-story home in Mission Viejo. Fire crews responded around 2:30 and found a house fully engulfed on Athena Street with residents trapped inside. Firefighters managed to pull several family members to safety, but officials tell us 1 person was unable to escape and was killed in that fire. At one point, crews had to fall back and battle the flames from outside. This was due to all that intense heat. The victim's identity has not been released, nor has the cause of the fire.
There is growing concern in West Hollywood tonight where residents catch a suspected peeping Tom on camera just roaming through apartment complexes. And people who live in this area say this is not the first time that this person has been spotted in their neighborhood acting inappropriately.
They say they're afraid for their safety. KTLA's Rachel Menitoff is live in West Hollywood where she spoke with residents. Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Karine. Hi, Rick. Good evening to you both. People around here say this man has been intruding on the neighborhood for years, committing lewd acts, peering into people's homes, and even threatening assault. West Hollywood residents say they've caught this man stalking, peeping, pulling down his pants and touching himself inside a number of apartment complexes over the last 7 or so years.
He's been seen at the bus stop on Fairfax and Santa Monica, outside the CBS building down Fairfax.
He'll often be arrested and cited, but soon returns and continues harassing neighbors who fear he could act on his threats of violence.
I unfortunately encountered him on public transportation where he began to stalk me to the building. And after threatening me, I got a message from my neighbor that he was on his camera in front of my door with rope in his hands.
We've blurred his face for the time being because he hasn't been formally identified by law enforcement and hasn't been charged with a crime. However, people are corroborating his unwelcome visits on the Nextdoor app and say his sightings seem to be escalating.
He always has an open container, can of beer with him.
He had, of course, the can of beer, which he's had it in every other ring video.
Lala Kay says the peeping Tom was spotted in her WeHo apartment as recently as last weekend.
He opened the screen door, which also locks, but he opened it and then he looked like this. Inside, the hole where is up the ring.
Residents are hoping that law enforcement can do more to prevent the prying eyes and violations of privacy.
It's the safety of a lot of the women and people that live around here. It seems like it could be a potentially dangerous thing.
I come back late at night and I'm very worried that I will run into him.
He seems to know where to go and will come back to the same places.
And the Sheriff's Department says it is well aware of this situation and is asking anyone who might encounter this man to document and report it to them. We're live in West Hollywood tonight. I'm Rachel Menitoff. I'll send it back to you in studio.
Yeah, troubling details tonight, Rachel. Thank you. A group of thieves managed to steal a Reseda woman's wallet after following her from a Wells Fargo bank. The theft happened Thursday at Love Car Wash in Reseda. Security video shows the victim cleaning her car as a white Jeep backed into the spot next to her. The suspect then pretended to vacuum the back seat before opening the woman's car door and swiping her wallet from the glove box. The victim tried to stop him, but the Jeep sped off and knocked her to the ground.
Now I'm fearful. Now I'm devastated. Now I cannot forgive myself why I was not aware about my surroundings.
And that victim says that she had just picked up money from the bank to repay a loan to a friend. Police say the suspect's vehicle was stolen with fraudulent license plates.
3, 2, 1, ignition. And liftoff. Go SpaceX, go Starlink.
Yeah, you may have seen this tonight. The latest SpaceX launch from Vandenberg took place just after 7 o'clock this evening, marking the final launch of the month. And if you were outside, you may have seen it streaking right across the sky. We got quite a few calls into our newsroom here about rocket sightings from Huntington Beach to the Redlands up to Santa Clarita. The Starlink 1120 mission, it was carrying 28 broadband satellites up into low orbit. They were deployed, actually, just over an hour after the thing lifted off. The flight was SpaceX's 124th Falcon 9 mission just this year alone.
Kai, those are always so fun to watch.
Yeah, I saw it.
Wow.
I made a little drive. My Astro Burger down the street. Looked up and said, oh, what is that? Yeah, it was really interesting. Very bright compared to the darkness that was in the sky at that time. Again, just after 7 o'clock. And luckily, we didn't see the marine layer obscuring that view for much of Southern California. And it still is looking good out there. We've got anywhere between mostly clear skies to at times some partly cloudy skies, especially as we head up a little bit further north into Santa Barbara. Right now, current temperature of 61 degrees. Clear skies, beautiful up in the Antelope Valley, 68 in Lancaster. 67 for San Bernardino. And again, you can see that marine layer still far off of the Southern California shoreline for the time being. And as we take